I gotta touch on this Jay Cutler thing real quick. It's basically the big story in the NFL right now, and if it isn't, it should be, because it is so hard to find a franchise quarterback in this league. You can draft bust after bust after bust. You can chase after mediocre guys desperately because you're so desperate for a competent quarterback. You can spend years and decades just looking for the great quarterback, and Denver had that. Jay Cutler, in his third year, made the Pro Bowl. In his second full year of starting, made the Pro Bowl. Looks like a great quarterback for years to come. He can make all the throws. He has mobility. He's a little careless with the football, but all around, Jay Cutler is an excellent quarterback. Denver, drafted him in 2006. He went behind Matt Leinart, who looks like a bust. He went behind Vince Young, who looks like a bust. And for Denver to find this guy 11th overall in the same draft class where two quarterbacks went in the top 10, great stroke of luck, great decision on their part, and things were looking good for them from the franchise quarterback perspective for the next 15 years. And now all this. For those of you who are living under a rock or just don't know what the hell is going on with this, basically, Josh McDaniels, the new Denver head coach, who I didn't agree with that hiring, but that's for another time, came in and was looking to deal Jay Cutler. He was trying to get Matt Castle out of New England. I think he was looking at some other guys too, but basically he was considering it. He was shopping around, but it didn't happen. Matt Castle went to Kansas City, so they were going to sit pat. But Cutler found out, and he was really pissed off, apparently. So he's not attending team meetings. He's not talking to Josh McDaniels. He sold his house in the Denver area. He sold his parents' house in the Denver area. He has been acting extremely pissed off lately about this whole thing. Just, you could not be acting more negatively than Jay Cutler is right now, I think. It's kind of a surreal situation to me because I have never seen something like this happen with a player. I mean, even with Terrell Owens, it wasn't quite like this. With any other player you can think of that demanded a trade out of a team, it wasn't like this. So I don't know who to blame. I think it's ridiculous that Josh McDaniels came in and tried to trade their franchise quarterback. Just makes no sense after the year he had last year, after the potential he has and the production he has shown, after all the good stuff he has done so far. To even think about trading him, to me, is completely absurd. And this is like the first strike against McDaniels to me. He went after his boy. He went after Matt Castle, the guy who he coached and played pretty well with in New England. He would rather have his boy than a quarterback who is clearly better. And that's a problem. It's like he wanted to bring somebody from New England with him and was willing to trade a better quarterback to get him, and was willing to completely screw up the franchise. So I already don't like the McDaniels hiring, and this is not helping his case. On the other hand, I think Cutler just needs to go, let's just pretend this whole thing never happened and move on. Yeah. I guess coming out of college, there were some rumors that Jay Cutler had these emotional issues. Like, he was very cocky at Vanderbilt. He was very arrogant. He was very, he was always looking out for himself. Kind of like that. And, we didn't really see that too much in the pros, but there were some indications that he wasn't a very good guy. Like, whenever his receiver would drop a pass, he would flip out. I remember after they got destroyed by San Diego in the season finale this year, Cutler in the interview was going on about, well, who cares? They're going to get killed by Indianapolis next weekend. Well, they didn't, but that's besides the point. That doesn't really matter from his perspective. So, look, I guess he's just touchy. I guess he takes this personally, and he has a very serious problem. I think he does need to get over it. And, if he's trying to make a point here, he's made his point. I'm sure that Denver will never try to trade him again unless his play drops off or whatever, because we are approaching the point of no return with Jay Cutler. If he continues to do this, if he continues to put his property in Denver up for sale, if he continues to not show up to these team meetings, they're going to have to trade him or bench him. And they can't trade him because they're not going to get good value for him, because people know that they're desperate. So they're going to end up having to keep him because they're going to get 40 cents on the dollar. And they're going to start Patrick Ramsey. And Jay Cutler's just going to sit on the bench until he gets over this, which might be never, because we know how he can be. It sucks, because I heard a rumor that Jay Cutler actually asked to be traded, and if so, this whole thing is just really retarded. I don't necessarily believe that, but if so, man, it's almost not worth it if you're going to have a guy like that. Worse than Terrell Owens. At least Terrell Owens would never ask to be traded and then get pissed off when you try and trade him. I don't really believe that, though, because that would just be too ridiculous. So Cutler, hopefully over time he will calm down. Until now, I'm gonna Josh McDaniels, I'm calling you out on this. This is strike one, and I'll say it again. I think Denver screwed up with hiring this guy over a guy like Steve Spagnuolo, and this is not going to help his case. And I'll tell you something, Patrick Ramsey won't be leading this team anywhere. Alright, that's it.